Well, it's that time again, everybody. We got a new Child's Play movie out in theaters right now, and it is time to re-rank the Child's Play franchise. One of my favorite franchises of all time. I'm a Chucky fanatic. But I won't be doing this ranking alone. As I speak right now, recording, Willis Greedia, CP, has already dropped his review this morning, put a lot of production into it, so I will put his link down below. Please check out his ranking. He just rewatched all the films over like the past 2 weeks preparing for this one. A very casual Child's Play fan, so it's going to be a lot different ranking, possibly, than mine. But there's also Brian Lomax, somebody who undoubtedly, unless he's messing with me, is going to have a extremely controversial opinion in his Child's Play ranking. So his is not up yet. It's probably going to be tomorrow. Once his is dropped, I will put that down in the video description below if you're watching this in the future. But subscribe to both of those channels and check out their rankings. And happy birthday, Brian, you crazy son of a bitch. But now with all that behind me, Child's Play 2019 is dropped. Now we have 8 Chucky movies to talk about. And we're just gonna get cracking right away with the bottom of the barrel. Number 8, the worst Child's Play film in this entire franchise. And yes, it has not changed. Seed of Chucky. That could be my whole review, just a thumbnail. This movie's garbage. This movie is absolutely terrible. It's one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had in my life. It's one of the worst horror films I've ever seen in my life. And it is by a landslide the worst film in this franchise. Like, it's not even close. There's like Seed of Chucky and then 20 Feet of Shit and then my number 7. So Seed of Chucky just really weird humor, way too much humor, taking like the black comedy approach that Bride of Chucky did so well and just cranking everything to 11 in the wrong direction. Glenda, what the fuck was that? Just, the one positive thing I will say about this film is that Chucky at least feels like Chucky. The doll design is pretty good and his humor is still there, like his sick, twisted humor. It's just not written as well or utilized as well as the other movies, not anywhere close. So I hate this film. I can rewatch this before I can rewatch something like Freddy's Dead, but you're talking about like a razor thin difference with how much I hate these films. So number 8, worst of this franchise, Seed of Chucky. Number 7, a movie that absolutely broke my heart 2 years ago and completely made me lose my faith in Mancini altogether, and that is Cult of Chucky, a film that I was highly anticipating after what I thought was very much an upswing with Curse of Chucky. You will see that a little higher on this list. And Cult of Chucky just, it felt like he learned all the wrong lessons from his success with Curse, and he went back to doing a lot of weird, convoluted nonsense like he did with Seed. Cult of Chucky takes Fiona Dorff's character, brings her into this mental ward, and Chucky comes into this mental ward to try to torment her and, you know, execute his master plan. And you get multiple Chucky dolls. The rules of the franchise are just out the fucking window. Now he has to utter like 4 words and he can consume any vessel whatsoever, which takes all the tension out of the film. The writing for Chucky, I will say this, there's gonna be a ranking video coming up where I rank all of the Chuckies, and you might be shocked where Cult of Chucky ends up, because I don't think the design of the doll is very good, and I actually think even above Seed, the writing for Chucky is at its weakest in this film. There's a couple of like small chuckles, but it just doesn't feel like there's much energy there with Brad Dourif's delivery or energy behind the writing. It just feels like the most stale Chucky I've ever seen. Tiffany, or you know, whatever the fuck, Jennifer Tilly, whatever her character is called nowadays because of all the shit the Seed did, she feels like she's just tacked in for a paycheck. Like there's just no passion there whatsoever. The kills are okay, they're gory, but you know, there's one that's like a revisited kill from Bride of Chucky that I don't think is near as impressive or as entertaining as the Bride of Chucky kill. There's a lot of gore. That's the one positive. There's plenty of carnage candy in this film, but story-wise, how they use Alex Vincent as Andy, his long-awaited return, I thought was garbage. His entire plan, just, I could rant forever on Cult of Chucky. It's a mildly entertaining, for the gore alone, Child's Play film, but it is not good. Number 7, Cult. Now, those 2 are the only films in this franchise that I do not like. Child's Play is one of those rare slasher franchises, at least for me personally, where the consistency and the quality has been pretty damn good in this franchise, with the exception of a couple of bad eggs. So everything else in this list, from 6 to the top, are movies that I thoroughly enjoy. So 7 and 8 are down here, and then like 6 is way up here. So number 6, this is not an insult whatsoever, the fact that it's rubbing shoulders with Cult. That's Curse of Chucky. This is Don Mancini's first directorial debut on the VOD style of Chucky. This is him trying to make a triumphant return and try to bring the franchise back after Seed, which honestly I think he's mostly successful here. As far as the Mancini controlled films, this is far and away the best one. It has a lot of the old school, like classic Child's Play, you know, straightforward slasher flavor to it. I like the setting. It's kind of like a Hitchcockian haunted house vibe, even though it's just a house with a family in it. Most of the characters are pretty entertaining here. Most of the kills are really entertaining and nice and gory. I like the slow unfold of the story with the Child's Play doll that looks a little bit odd and then eventually is revealed to be Chucky, which we already knew, but then eventually is revealed to be a Chucky in a version of this timeline that maybe you did not expect walking into this. I liked how all that played out. Fiona Dorff was great in this. I did not expect her to be. I saw her casting and I went, oh, so they're just casting Brad Dourif's daughter at this point because they can't afford anybody else with their budget. But I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised. She is one of the best parts of this film. As far as negatives, why it's held down this low, I don't think Mancini's directing is as strong as the movies above it. I'm not entertained quite as much as the movies that are above it, but like I said, from here on out, these are all movies that I thoroughly enjoy. So Curse was a nice addition to this franchise, and it's a fucking shame that it went from Curse to Cult, because if he had matched the quality or even surpassed the quality that he put into Curse with Cult, then I would have had full faith in Mancini for anything else that he wanted to do, and I would have just wrote off Seed as a bad day at the office. Number 5, we have our new addition to this franchise, the Child's Play 2019 remake. Now, if you've watched my spoiler-free review and my spoiler review, you know that I highly enjoyed this film. It delivered a lot of things that I was hoping that it would deliver. A few surprises along the way, predominantly the amount of emotion that they put into the relationship between Chucky and Andy. I thought that was brilliant. I love the old school gore fest kills that they have in this, the references to other classic films in the not only Orion catalog, but the 80s slasher catalog. Just a lot of fun that I had with this film. As far as negatives, why it only made it this high in the list, which still, like I said, I love all the films above this, so this is still a high recommendation being at number 5. I just didn't like the design of Chucky. I think the design of Chucky was a big misstep. I hope they fix it in a sequel that they'll hopefully get enough money for. I feel like the friend characters that they were kind of really ramping up as like this It Stranger Things type setup with Andy was a complete waste. You could have cut them from the film completely. I think Detective Mike wasn't utilized as well as he could have been. And overall, it was just a little bit of a weird transition. No matter how much I mentally walked into this film trying to separate all the other Child's Play films as best as I could, it's a weird transition to walk into this to see this completely different version of Chucky, this completely different approach, and not have a little bit of a desire for some of that Brad Dourif stuff to come in, like personality. So I love how they utilize this version of Chucky. I think he works perfectly in the version of Child's Play that they're going for. And I really do want to see more from this doll and more from this remake franchise in MGM, but I definitely prefer the Brad Dourif style of Chucky. So that's the main thing that holds it back, but I highly enjoyed this film. Give it a huge recommend. If you have not seen my reviews and you're just now watching this ranking, give it a shot, because Child's Play 2019 was a damn good remake. And now we are at the point in this ranking where I'm going to cause a shitstorm down in the comment section. This is the one opinion that is probably going to set people off a little bit, but I will say, hear me out when I get to the next film on this list. So, I rewatched all of the Child's Play films leading up to my excitement for Child's Play 2019 before I walked into it, with the exception of Seed. Didn't need to re-experience that. I watched these films once or twice a year anyway, so it wasn't like I needed to refresh my memory on it. It was just more so like, you know, your opinions change a little bit. So I rewatched all of them, and my ranking, this is the one spot that has switched since my previous ranking 2 years ago when Cult came out. Number 4 is the original Child's Play from 1988, the Tom Holland directed classic. This is a phenomenal slasher. This is one of the premier classic slashers, one of the best horror films of the 80s. This gave us everything that we know and love about Chucky. and the Child's Play franchise. The voodoo lore, the character of Charles Lee Ray, Andy, Detective Mike played by Chris Sarandon is great. The Catherine Hicks playing the mother is awesome. Karen Barkley, just the relationships between all those characters, the drama of this young kid that's basically defenseless, trying to get adults to understand what's going on, and adults just keep dismissing it. The premiere of Brad Dourif as Chucky, like, not only is he a great character as Charles Lee Ray, like, I love that whole exchange at the beginning, like, you hear this, you son of a bitch! All that's awesome, but when you get the reveal of Chucky, when she realizes the batteries aren't in there, she's gonna throw him in the fire, he just comes to life, you stupid bitch! God, this movie's awesome. This is one of those movies that's just one of those timeless, awesome 80s movies that I have very little negative to say about it. Really the only thing negative that I could say about 1988 is just that they haven't fully realized Chucky yet, which with a first film, that's not their fault. They just didn't realize how awesome Chucky was gonna be and how much people were gonna gravitate to that character. And some of the effects surrounding Chucky don't age nearly as well as the other films, predominantly when they have a little person in a suit to play some of the more like physical attributes of Chucky, and you can tell it goes from an animatronic doll to a living person in a suit. But those are small nitpicks. This is an absolute classic, and like I've said, from 6 up, I love all these films. Number 4 is not a knock whatsoever, but there are 3 films above it that I love just a little bit more. And this is where I need to explain myself. Do not hate on me for my opinion on this. I understand that this is a very rare, controversial thing, but rewatching these films, I had to be honest with myself. Number 3 for me is going to be Child's Play 3. Yes, I know, a lot of people do not like Child's Play 3. Yes, I know, even people that like it put it near the bottom of their rankings. I get it, but hear me out. I have a very special relationship with this film. I've said it numerous times, but I have a lot of new subscribers that probably have never heard me say this before, so Child's Play 3 is the horror film that got me into horror. This is the first slasher film, the first horror film that I ever watched when I was a kid. This is the reason why I am in front of you all right now talking about horror all the time. This is the reason why I am obsessed with this genre. That is the reason why I love Child's Play and Freddy and Jason and Michael and all that so much, is because of Child's Play 3. So I have a very close connection with this film. And I think this film is very unfairly hated a lot of times. A lot of times when people say that it's a dull sequel, I don't understand it. I honestly do not. I respect everybody's opinion, but this is one of those things where when people say that, I just can't understand it. I think that Child's Play 3 does almost all of the same things that Child's Play 2 did so well, but Child's Play 2 just got there first. So the fact that 2 came and then 3 came right after it, it does feel like diminishing returns for some people, but to me, it's just another awesome Chucky film. I actually like the military setting. I don't mind the older Andy being the protector now, being the one that knows who Chucky is and having to save this kid who was in the shoes that Andy was in on the previous 2 films. I like Chucky's attitude in this. He has some of the best one-liners in the entire franchise in Child's Play 3. Presto, you're dead. Love it. Don't fuck with the Chuck, one of his greatest. Love it. All the stuff surrounding Chucky in this film, to me, is awesome. Even the opening credits are great. One of the best opening credit sequences in this entire franchise. The third act, come on. One of the best third acts in this entire franchise. Not quite as good as Child's Play 2's third act with the toy factory, but damn close. The whole carnival setting, Chucky getting his face sliced off, falling down into the fan. I love Child's Play 3 so much. And upon rewatch, I would never argue that Child's Play 1988 is a better made film. I would never argue that ever with anybody that told me that. I agree. Tell me down in the comments. I will agree with you. But Child's Play 3, I do enjoy slightly more. I do rewatch slightly more often, and it is certainly more important to me as a horror fan. So don't hate me for my opinion. That is why I had to put Child's Play 3 just slightly above the original. But I love both of these films. Believe me, I do. Trust me, I'm your friend to the end. But now we are at our top 2, and like I said in my last ranking, these are 2 films that I love on a level that they constantly switch places. I will rewatch one and go, yep, that's my favorite, and then I'll rewatch the other one and go, nope, that one's my favorite. It is like razor thin difference that changes from moment to moment on which one that I like more. But as of the recording of this video, my opinion as it stands is that number 2, the second best Child's Play film in this franchise, is still Bride of Chucky. I love Bride of Chucky to death. This was the first Child's Play film that I saw in theaters. I really like the push for black humor because to me it was always present in Child's Play. They just kind of cranked it up a little bit. And I still think that the horror and the slasher and the dark elements of Child's Play is still very present in this film. So I think it's a great mix. I really love Jennifer Tilly in this. This is the one appearance that she makes in this franchise that I think that she is awesome and just kills it. She actually rivals how awesome Chucky is in this film. The greatest kill in this entire film, and one of my favorite kills of the entire franchise, is because of Tiffany. She has a very different style than Chucky. She kind of pushes Chucky to be a more creative killer in some ways. I love the back and forth dialogue between them. Chucky is probably at his funniest in this movie. All of the dialogue where, you know, he's typing bitch into the little speedometer and it comes back and says, "You misspelled woman." Or when she's outside and, "Tiffany, where the fuck are you?" All the one-liners he has in this film are great. The kills are great. Yes, the storyline is simplified. They get rid of the Andy thing, which to me was a smart move because it had been redundant if they had did it a fourth time. Some people bitch about the Heart of Damballa thing. To me, it's just something to get the plot moving. It's not really something to harp on, but then again, if you think that's a gigantic disrespect of the lore of the franchise the way that I think Cult is, fair enough. It just works for me. But the simple story of we have to get to Charles Lee Ray's grave to get this thing so that we can get into another body because the voodoo chant thing has fucked me over for 3 films in a row. I thought that was clever enough. I don't mind the Jesse and Jade storyline. I think that they're actually a nice little foil for for Chucky and for Tiffany. The Bride of Frankenstein references left and right. The kick-ass soundtrack. Fucking Judas Priest, baby. Ripper era. So many things about this film that I love. Very few negative things I have to say about it. I enjoy the hell out of it. Number 2, Bride of Chucky. But the king, still, the almighty Child's Play 2 is still the best film in this franchise and my number 1. This is Chucky completely realized, completely unhinged, and just cranked all the way up to 11 from start to finish. They don't waste any time. Andy gets put into a foster home, Chucky finds him, and immediately you have this cat and mouse game between Andy and Chucky. You have the great addition of a character like Kyle. There's a nice little weirdness to the house. Like, it's not quite on the level of Curse of Chucky where it's like Hitchcockian, but it's just this really uncomfortable like doll setting where she's got like the different statues and the paint scheme. It's a very weird, uncomfortable setting, this foster family house. And it doesn't help the fact that you have Phil, who's just one of the most unlikable parents you've ever seen, and it's very satisfying to see him die. How's it hanging, Phil? But there is some of the greatest one-liners, some of the greatest Chucky voice work by Brad Dourif, really good kills, like Miss Kettlewell, that's an absolute classic where he beats her to death with her yardstick. That is awesome. When she pushes the papers aside and sees Andy's test and it says, "Fuck you, bitch." Like, the humor is just awesome in Child's Play 2, leading all the way up to one of the greatest third acts in any horror film ever. And I will stand by that opinion. Any horror film ever. Child's Play 2, that whole toy factory thing where Chucky just gets dismantled little by little and just keeps coming at Andy because he finally realizes that he's too late, and you get that great, "No, you son of a bitch!" Gets his arm torn off, throws a knife on there. Now you got some Evil Dead flavor going on. Gets his legs cut off, now he's got a little scooter underneath him. He's still coming full force at Andy. And you get the whole thing where he's melted and he blows up into a big balloon. Just, god damn, Child's Play 2. I wanna go watch it right now. When I'm editing this video, I'm rewatching Child's Play 2. That's how much I love this fucking movie. But that's it, guys. That is my updated Child's Play ranking. What is yours? Did you enjoy Child's Play 2019? I've actually seen some people that put it at the top of their list. So this remake, very pleasantly surprised, and it warms my heart that so many people are enjoying the hell out of it because I've been battling negativity with this thing for over a year, and I'm glad that it's making so many people happy, both Child's Play fans and not, and even some people that thought it was going to be garbage and they walk in and they're like, "Holy crap, this movie's awesome." It's pretty awesome to be a Child's Play fan and see some Chucky fever going on. So bravo, Child's Play 2019 and everybody involved. But what is your thoughts, guys? Put your ranking down below. Give me some reasons why these films are in the places that they are so I don't just have to read a bunch of numbers, because that's always a little bit boring to scroll through. Keep your eyes peeled on this channel, guys, because there's still going to be a lot of Chucky content coming over the next week. You've got ranking the Chuckies, you got ranking Chucky's deaths, I have ranking all the kills in the Child's Play franchise. And I asked a question on my spoiler review whether or not you guys want to see it, and everybody said yes that commented in. So I am going to be doing a video on my ideas for a sequel to the Child's Play 2019 remake, just like a little pitch video. So tons of Chucky fever going on the Cody Leach channel. So hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber so that you can experience all the Chucky goodness that is coming your way. Please like and share this video. Hit the subscribe button because you won't regret it. Check down the video description below for social media links like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can look just below the video description for my Teespring store. You can see it right below the video now. You got different Cody Leach merchandise. There's actually 2 Child's Play designs there. You got the Fuck This Movie shirt, and you have the Let People Like Things shirt, which involves like my battling of the negativity with the Child's Play remake, and there is ideas in the work for one more Child's Play design to celebrate the release of this film. So keep your eyes peeled for that down below in the Teespring store, guys. And check below for my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel, help this channel grow, and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only, which, if you decide to become a patron, will make you very happy. You got review requests, you've got Blu-ray digital copy codes, you've got early access videos where I let you guys check out my videos before everybody else, all that good stuff. So check that out. And if you want to check out some more of my Child's Play content, including my reviews, both spoiler and spoiler free of Child's Play 2019, and all of my reviews for all the other films in the franchise, you can check those out by clicking right over here, baby.